What's up, guys? So this will be my fourth NoFap video. This is NoFap 3 years, and this is an accomplishment for me. Not that it's not hard anymore, but the fact that I completely gave up masturbation, pornography, and there are reasons for that, and I'll explain in a sec. A lot of my friends told me that is impossible, especially if you're single. That's difficult because you're not having sex on a regular basis. So basically what inspired this video is, it was 3 years ago that I just decided to completely stop looking at porn and masturbating completely. Up until that point, since age 16, I always wanted to stop, and it was just difficult because, like I said, I'm not always in a relationship. I'm not always having sex, so you get horny, and then even if I just thought like it's impossible. Like if you as a man, like if you feel horny, then you have to resolve that in some way. But I never felt that great looking at porn. I never felt that great masturbating, and everyone's different. Some people enjoy that. Some people feel like they can connect to themselves that way. For me, I like orgasming with somebody else. When I do it by myself, I don't feel really good about it for some reason. And so that's me personally. In terms of pornography, I don't like pornography. I don't like the way they treat women, and at the same time, I've always felt like a hypocrite, because then I'd look at it, and then I'd feel really ashamed. Like it'd be hard for me to look, at women on a day-to-day basis, like in the eye after doing that, because I just feel ashamed. I'd always feel ashamed, and even if I tell myself, no, this is. I remember being in a psychology class, a couple of psychology classes that I took that were, one was like a sexology class, another one was a relationship class, where, I was one of the few guys, so I was kind of the guinea pig, and I talked a lot anyway in the class. So, we got into the subject of masturbation. I kind of joked about it, and I was like, it's a natural thing, if you're not always in a relationship, if you're not having sex on a regular basis, then it's a natural thing to do, if you have that, if you're horny, and it's kind of getting in the way of you concentrating and stuff. So that was kind of like, I used to just write it off. But when I came across a few videos years ago about these dudes on the internet, these different YouTubers talking about how they just gave up pornography and masturbation completely and how beneficial it was for them. And at the time, like I said, for years I tried to do that. I'd go like a month, 2 months, 60 days plus. And I remember always having it on my mind, and my friends would just make fun of me. They like, if I was in a group with my friends, they'd just start blasting pornography and stuff, and like just messing with me and stuff. And because they knew, like, they're like, oh my God, Mike's trying to do this thing. So all this being said, when I started, I watched a couple videos of these guys talking about it, just saying like, yo, it is possible. You have to stick through. The first couple months really is when it's kind of tough, and then the body starts chilling out. So, I still have, a powerful sex drive, but at the same time, I can control it. Whereas before, it's not that I couldn't control it, but I felt more pushed around by my my sexual urges. Where now, I feel like I have a healthy. I feel healthy when it comes to my sex drive. I don't feel like if I see a beautiful woman, I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful woman, but I don't feel like overwhelmed by lust or anything like that. And like, growing up, I had a really, really strong sex drive. I think a lot of men, I can't speak for the female experience, but a lot of young men kind of experience that. And unfortunately, because of that, because of the toxic nature that we've had in our history of men and women and, you know, the sexism, that mixed with, you know, this intense this intense like hyper sex drive that men tend to have, it's made for a lot of issues in the world. You know, like the Me Too movement is a movement that has been inspired by, you know, men not just abusing their sexuality, you know what I mean, and completely just not taking responsibility for themselves. So what basically, what are the benefits that I've felt so far? And it's No Nut November. So I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the video, but a couple of my friends are doing this, and it's kind of like, you know how they say the vegan, what is it called? There's a challenge where it's like the vegan challenge, 1 week vegan challenge, you go vegan for a week. No Nut November is when you don't masturbate for the month of November. Now, November is almost over, but I mean, if you want to push it into the month of December, you can give it a shot. But basically, the benefits that I've experienced are I have so much more energy. I just feel more secure about myself. I don't have to feel that guilt. I don't have to feel that. I always get upset, like I said, when I masturbate, so I don't have to deal with that. I feel so much more comfortable as a man around women, because I think before, like I said, I've always felt comfortable around women, but you know, I don't have to deal with that guilt that was associated with that, you know. And before, like, it was just with myself, you know. I kind of suppressed these feelings of just like, why did I just do that? And now that's gone. So it's a wonderful thing. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's just the energy. I have so much energy, and it's a controlled energy. So it's a creative energy. It's just physical energy. And my sex drive is even, I mean, I have more control of my sex drive. So I am better in bed too, which is great. So anyway, those are my benefits. Cool beans. I know that it's benefited a lot of women too. But yeah, it's just nice. It's nice cutting porn out, because I think for the most part, porn can be very, very toxic. And I'll post a few videos down below kind of supporting that. One of them is a former porn star. He was one of the most famous porn stars in the industry. It's him kind of reflecting on it and his view on pornography. So anyway, cool beans, guys. Peace. Have a good one. Quick note, and I'll put some videos down below that explain, you know, tips of how to do it. But one of the biggest tips I can give is don't concentrate on days, just do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't tell yourself, oh my God, I've been doing NoFap for a week. Oh my God, I've been doing NoFap for this amount of time. And when you think about it like that, you're constantly thinking about it. So it makes the whole thing more irritating. Second, don't call it NoFap. You can call it energy conservation. That's one way people go about it, because if you keep telling people I'm a NoFap, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? Fap, NoFap. So it's constantly on the mind. And this two pieces of advice I picked up way later. I mean, this is after, like, I was good on. I thought to myself, like, geez, if I would have known those two things, it wouldn't have been so intense, because that's actually how I went about my diet too. I went raw vegan, and vegan was fine. When I went raw vegan for a period of time, I always was identifying, I'm raw vegan, and it just made the whole process. It went from being like interesting, fun, to making it really not enjoyable, and inevitably that wasn't, you know, the diet I want to stick with. But you have to be careful with the words that you use, because those words, there's a certain energy attached to those words. So if you're saying NoFap, if you're calling it NoFap, telling people you do NoFap, and you can say that so they know what you're talking about, you know, if you're trying to explain that to somebody. But just for yourself, if you use different words to describe what you're talking about, it'll get your mind off of the idea of masturbating. So like energy conservation. There is nothing related to masturbation in that statement. So, you know, if you've ever heard that saying, don't think of a pink elephant. The first thing you think of is a pink elephant. So anyway, that's just a way to, you know, get your mind focused on life and not the fact that you're doing this thing, but at the same time you're still doing it. So so it's a productive way and a much easier way to go about it. So anyway, cool beans, guys. I'll put some cool videos below that are helpful. And yeah, peace. Have a good one.